Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having a Cardinal Grand Cross in a natal chart. Now, a Cardinal Grand Cross is when you have an astrological configuration, aka aspect pattern, that consists of 4 squares and 2 oppositions, all obviously in cardinal signs. Now, it can indicate a lot of activity, and this person that has this may take on and embark on a lot of projects simultaneously, where this could show tremendous drive, enterprise, ambition, and initiative. Often these things that this person is doing, these activities, can be very conflicting, and basically the person may encounter a lot of obstructions and obstacles consequently. Now, the way I say it, 6 adverse aspects in a configuration, which is of course the 2 oppositions and 4 squares, it equals much frustration, consternation, exasperation, and a lot of inner turmoil because of this. So anyway, people, let me get to my computer screen monitor, and you know my routine. We're going to look at a pretty famous person's solar chart, and it's going to be Donald Sterling. So just hold on momentarily, people. I'm going to see how his Cardinal Grand Cross in his solar chart, how it may impact him. So just hold on a second. Or a few seconds, actually, I should say. Alright, people, here we go. I think we're about on it. The midheaven is not coming in very good position, but do the best I can here. Anyway, well, when we look at Donald Sterling's solar chart, and many of you may remember I had done the segment last year on the Cardinal Grand Cross and how this could have, and seen why it impacted him perhaps very strongly, and why he figured so prominently in the sports world during this time. Now, in his Cardinal Grand Cross, I am using the MC, and some people don't use the MC ascendant, but I do. I think if you can use them in aspects, you can use them in aspect patterns, aka configurations in a natal chart. So we got the MC in Capricorn, and Mercury in Aries, then Pluto in Cancer in the 4th, and last but not least, Jupiter in Libra in the 6th house. So, anyway, people, well, the first aspect, I'm going to do the 2 oppositions first, and then we'll go to the 4 squares. Now, in the first aspect that we're going to be looking at, he has the Jupiter in Libra is opposing his Mercury in Aries. And now, just by sign alone, we could see why there would be a strong conflict here. You have the outspoken, blunt, very direct, forceful Mercury in Aries, and unfortunately in the 12th house, so that's tamed a little bit, and that energy's a little bit suppressed being in the 12th. Now, Jupiter in Libra is about maybe being fortuitous in terms of their relationships, and when things are very peaceful and tranquil. So you have this emphasis perhaps on peace, and then you have this on a little bit more about, as far as communication goes, being a little bit more assertive and aggressive. And the thing is, there can be a tendency, when you have your Jupiter adverse aspect to Mercury, there might be a tendency toward distortion with what you're saying, and this could be a little bit of a problem. And anyway, and perhaps maybe this was somewhat this is something that could cause maybe certain problems with him. And we look at the next opposition. Now, he has the opposition here with the MC and Pluto in the 4th house. Now, you have Capricorn and Cancer as the 2 signs, and you could see where maybe there's some upheavals in the home front, being Pluto in the 4th, and you have this MC in Capricorn, and you're really having oppositions clash here. And when somebody has this opposition, this could indicate some kind of maybe some problems with authority, and this is something where there might be some control issues, perhaps to some degree. And we have Donald Sterling, maybe the type that wants to be in control of what he's doing, but what happens is, as we know what happened with the when he had to pretty much step down from his position, I think he found out who was in charge. And anyway, we look at the next aspects. We're going to go to the squares. We have Mercury in Aries squaring his Capricorn MC, and this is an aspect where you have Mercury in Aries, as I stated before, about they could be rather maybe brusque and aggressive and forthright in their approach with their communication. And then you have this conservative Capricorn in MC. You could see something where there can be perhaps a conflict there, where he has this conservative, perhaps public image, but there's that part that wants to really come out and speak his mind. So there could be a conflict there. But what this could indicate too is that communications with authority figures can be adversarial when you have Mercury in conflict with the MC, because the MC is connected with authority figures as well as your public image. And there can be something, maybe things that he said that could cause problems for his career. And sure enough, when they had that recording, that pretty much did obviously cause some problems for him. So the thing is, now let's go to the next square. The next square, of course, is going to be Mercury square Pluto in Cancer in the 4th. And if somebody has Pluto square their Mercury, this person perhaps may be caustic, can be try to indoctrinate their beliefs on others, perhaps try to get them to listen to what they say, not just listen to what they say, but kind of try to sometimes forcefully get that person to adapt to his or her way of thinking, in this case his way of thinking, and that doesn't always, of course, go right. And that is something where you have the 4th and the 12th house involved. So this is something where perhaps you have the conflict not just with that square, but you have to take the houses into consideration as well. And the 12th house is the private life, and this could have caused problems for his perhaps emotional security, which is the 4th, and even his home family life. And I don't know if it was I honestly don't know or remember how it went down, or what was as far as the veracity of this, but it had been rumored that he was having maybe a clandestine affair that was actually more out in the open, but I don't know that to be 100% true or not. I'm just saying that's what that rumor was. And you have this conflict and obviously that could cause problems for your family life, maybe to some degree, when something like that gets out. So this is something where now the next aspect he has, we have Pluto squaring his Jupiter. Now with Pluto square Jupiter, this could be a person that may try to very strongly, forcefully transform others' opinions and philosophies, and try to get this person to go along with this. And it's interesting how one of these planets is Jupiter in Libra, and Jupiter in Libra can really perhaps put a lot of emphasis on relationships. And this could be something where
he might have had his own beliefs, strong beliefs on this, and be very adamant and vehement regarding this, and didn't really care what others thought. And that's kind of what I believe as far as Donald Sterling goes. Now, last but not least, he has Jupiter in Libra square, his cap MC in his solar chart, and having this could, this person, it could show that maybe their philosophies, their beliefs might need some rework, and the person might not always be very pragmatic. And this is a person perhaps that maybe when their philosophies and their beliefs might conflict with what their people in authority over them think, and I think that probably was true. That couldn't be more true than the saga that took place last year with Donald Sterling, as many of you may know what went down when he made those controversial statements. And really, and I think the authority people over him in the NBA obviously took effrontery to it and did not really appreciate his beliefs. So I think that's a pretty safe assumption. And a lot of these things were all, with him, they were going on all simultaneously. And what exacerbated this was the fact that, as many of you remember when I did that video, that he had that Cardinal Grand Cross was essentially overlapping his solar chart Cardinal Grand Cross. So I think that's what kind of exacerbated and really activated all this tension and activity that is associated with his own Cardinal Grand Cross configuration in his own natal chart. Well, anyway, people, let me get back to my spot. Just hold on momentarily before I head out.
Well, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Cardinal Grand Cross and a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about a fixed Grand Cross in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.